All right, let's talk about building an inbound sales lead strategy.
So imagine prospects coming to you, asking you questions about marketing and advertising. Think it's a pipe dream? Not only is it not a dream, it's possible. And I'm going to show you now how to institute an inbound marketing strategy to capture more qualified leads for your organization, or you can also set one up just for you as an individual local media rep.
I define inbound marketing as using digital content to attract and build relationships with highly qualified prospects.
So I know I'm beating a dead horse here, and I've talked a lot about how cold calling is becoming less and less effective. As another strategy to compensate for that, I really do believe inbound marketing is a viable alternative as a source for generating qualified sales leads. So this is definitely worth your consideration as an individual and for your overall local media organization.
All right, here's the actions we're going to talk about in terms of building an inbound lead strategy. Number one, promoting yourself as an individual local media rep. Number two, reinventing your local media organization's Advertise with Us page. Number three, creating a sales social media group to promote your sales department. Number four, answering questions from prospects. Number five, sharing case studies. And six, hosting webinars or group video chats for your prospects. Up next, promoting yourself. Here's a great example of what I'm talking about in terms of promoting yourself as a local media rep, putting your bios on your local media organization's website. This is a television station in Watertown, New York, and they have their photograph and a bio for each rep. Because after all, our prospects want to know who they're going to be working with. So I think it's a great idea to share a little bit of information about ourselves. Let's take a deep dive into the general sales manager, Leslie McKinney, and just some basic information about where she went to school, some other personal information, some professional information. So just as we're trying to build a relationship with our prospects, we're looking for those insights so we can build instant personal rapport. We want to do the same thing in reverse. And a great way to do that is to get our bios on our local media organization's websites. And some of the things that you might want to include in your bios, if this is something that you want to do, some of the unique attributes of each account executive, each local media rep, yourself. So we all have different ways of looking at the world, all different types of advertising categories. We prefer different sales styles. So we want to share some of that information with potential prospects. So what are the favorite kinds of businesses you like to work with? Is it different advertising categories, or what is it about those types of businesses that really get you fired up? What types of marketing ideas do you have to share? Or maybe you are going to share a few on your marketing profile. What are some of your personal interests? What are your favorite kinds of promotions? What are you really passionate about? What are you an expert in, especially in terms of digital advertising and marketing? There's just so many different formats. Which ones do you really like the most, and which ones do you know the most about? I also want to share, this is such a great idea. This is another television station in New York State. I love this idea. This is another television station in New York, really innovative idea, using their unsold inventory, displayed inventory, to promote some of their local media reps, the ones that really sold the most digital advertising in a particular given month. So here's an example of that, red arrow down there. So what I love about this is it makes it more personal. Instead of just general, advertise with us and here's why, display out on our website, it really kind of makes it more human, because at the end of the day, sales is about connecting people to people. And I really love this approach that this is one of the people that you might be working with at our station, and here's what they're all about. And it also incentivizes the local media rep to sell more digital advertising beyond just money, because the more promotion they get on their website, the higher probability that they could get more potential leads while their ads are running on your website. I also want to remind you, we've talked a lot about LinkedIn, but to really get great engagement on LinkedIn, you want to fill out your profile completely. And as you notice, as LinkedIn will identify me as an all-star because I have my profile very completely filled out. I added a lot of content to this because I want a lot of people to engage and connect with me. And the more content I put up there, I increase those chances for that engagement to happen. Also, strongly encourage you as you're promoting yourself on LinkedIn, get recommendations, especially if you had a great experience with a client. Don't be bashful. Ask if they would recommend you on LinkedIn. You want to keep that archive because just in the same way as consumers, we're going to Yelp to see how good a restaurant is. We're going to Angie's List to see if we want to hire that contractor. I believe more and more of us are going to get reviewed, and we might as well go with that trend. So get those recommendations, get reviewed, so that way potential prospects can see what it is like to work with you. And the more reviews that you have and the more different ways that people share how they work, how you worked with them, why they liked working with you, what you could do for them, the more comfortable you're going to make potential prospects wanting to reach out and connect with you. I would also gather testimonials. You can add these if you can have your bio on your local media organization's website. I would add some of those testimonials there. As we've been saying, especially to get the most out of LinkedIn, it's also true beyond LinkedIn. Share marketing ideas. You want to promote yourself. The best way to do that is to share ideas. Share your expertise. Show what you're passionate about. Leon Spencer, once again, using him as an example, does a great job sharing marketing ideas, advertising ideas in the realm of digital on Twitter. He has a ton of followers. All of his tweets are related, or the majority of them are related to sharing ideas to help out his potential prospects. And this is something very easy that you could do, especially if you're somebody already gathering lots of information online. Great way to share these links, pump them out on Twitter, and build a following of prospects in your market that want to learn more about digital advertising and marketing ideas. As I always say, pick your tool for sharing. I'm not saying you should just do LinkedIn, you should just do Twitter. You should pick a social media platform that really works for you, that you're going to commit to, that you're excited about, that you're going to actually use. I actually met a local media rep in Maine that loves Pinterest, and I suggested to her that that would be a great way for her to be building a following and building a community of potential prospects because she's so committed to Pinterest, and she is just a dynamo on that particular social media platform. All right, let's talk about reinventing the advertise page with us on your local media website.
So know that advertise with us link at the bottom of every single page, or maybe at the top of your homepage. How many people do you think are actually really clicking on that page? Let me ask you this. How many qualified leads do you think that advertise with us page is really generating for your sales team? Hardly any, right?
Now, I don't want to give the Santa Fe Reporter too hard a time because the vast majority of local media websites in broadcasting and newspaper, directory, the traditional local media organizations, we're all guilty of having pretty lame advertise with us sections on our website. We offer very basic information about how big an audience we can reach, how long we've been in business, some other basic information about the reach frequency of our audiences, how you can contact our reps or contact the organization. But honestly, how many people really even click on this page, or how many leads have you really gotten from this type of content? It's almost nothing. So we keep looking at this advertise with us page as a single page, as flat, as static. What I want to inspire you to do is to look at it as an entire content area on your website that you can reinvent, that has a whole marketing solutions or business solutions section to your website that gets people excited about getting their problem solved. And based on that information, they're saying, you know what, if their information is this good, I want to work with these guys and gals.
Imagine if you can convert 0.25% of your total unique monthly visitors to your website into qualified sales leads. That would be pretty awesome, right? Why don't you do that calculation right now? And if you don't know your monthly unique visitors coming to your website, shame on you. That is information as a local media rep you should know. Let me walk you through a quick fake example. Say you have 10,000 unique media visitors coming to your website, and we convert 0.25%, 0.0025%. That's 25 sales leads. This is a huge overlooked opportunity. We really need to reinvent that advertise with us section of our website. Look at it as a content area of marketing information, local business information that can attract those businesses to entice them to give up their email so we can build a relationship with them. Think about all the local businesses in your area, all those local companies. Don't you think that they're coming to your website? You have all kinds of great local information, entertainment, right? But nothing about solving their business problems. And think about all the employees that work for those local companies that are coming to your website. So we have a great opportunity here if we could only program that whole advertise with us section of our website as if it was another content area with great marketing information. I know you can do it.
This is a fantastic example of a radio group doing a super great job at creating marketing content to attract potential prospects and to converting them to leads. They've made, I believe now, hundreds of thousands of dollars as a result of their inbound lead strategy. And they do such a great job. Now, the top of their page, I'm going to say, yes, looks kind of like a typical advertise with us page. But as you scroll down, they give people lots of reasons to submit their email address, whether it's how do I market on a budget? What are the 5 steps for success in effective radio advertising? Downloading a free guide, getting a free commercial on their station. So diving in, the goal of inbound leads is to get that potential prospect to submit a valid email address so you can reach out to them again. This is a high level of indication that they like your content and they want to engage with you, but you got to develop that relationship. So one great way of doing that is offering free production service or deep discount on production services, because so many local businesses desperately need media production services now because there's just so many different platforms they need content for now. Give them free marketing research or advice, depending on what your particular traditional media platform might be, or digital advertising. As we've been saying, there's a huge opportunity. I'm sure in the course of a week, there's so many of your clients and prospects that are clueless when it comes to understanding their digital marketing and advertising options. This is a problem that can be solved. I know a lot of local media reps get very annoyed by the lack of knowledge on the part of local advertisers and business owners not understanding digital marketing, but let's educate them. Let's put our marketing consulting hat on and help them out. And by doing that, by giving, we will receive back a relationship and potentially a client. And if you're struggling with ideas of if you want to put together a few PDFs about some marketing ideas in your market, just look at other marketing books. Go to Amazon. Look at other small business marketing books, look at their table of contents, and that will give you an idea of some of the topics that you can be writing about and the problems that need to be solved by other local advertisers in your market. Offer a special on advertising. So what is your lowest cost advertising? Offer a deal on that, or let people know what that is. So I think in local media, we really need to start to think about what is that entry-level digital advertising product that we can kind of maybe almost give away or offer at a deep discount. Because once we get people in the tent, we build a financial relationship with them, then we want to upsell them on larger and larger advertising campaigns. So think about that. Let's talk about creating a sales social media group to promote your sales department. What boggles my mind, we're in local media, we do such a great job of promoting the brand of our local media organization, promoting our talent, promoting our journalists, promoting our events, but we do a horrible job of promoting our sales department, the people taking the certification. One great way we can start doing that is by creating a social media page. You can create a Facebook page, Facebook business group like this sales department did at a television station in Buffalo, New York, or you can create one on LinkedIn like WRAL. So either way, just start thinking about a social media platform where you can be, as an organization, saying, we want to promote all the awesome work and all the awesome advertising solutions and business solutions our sales department is giving local businesses in our market every day. Now I want to share with you the 4-2-1 social posting rule. After all, if you're going to have a vibrant social media group for your sales department, it all comes down to generating content and sharing content. And I know it's tempting to put up content all about how awesome your advertising services are, the special packages you might be offering currently, but that is exactly what you do not want to do. You don't want to scare them off. I'm going to show you how to build a relationship with them using these social media groups. So the example we're going to use as if you were going to have one post every single day through the course of a week. So that's 7 posts. So 4 of those will be from third-party sources. 2 of them will be posts of your own original content, sharing ideas. And number 1 will be promoting one thing about your sales abilities or offerings. So let me just dig a little deeper into what I mean by that. 4 pieces of content from third-party sources. So in previous modules, I was showing you a lot of resources that can share digital advertising information. So you want to share links to that. So this is an example from the website Mashable. Maybe you found a great link about Google or how they're changing their algorithm to favor mobile websites. So you can share that on your social media group and do that 4 different times throughout the course of this week. Now let's talk about the 2 pieces of content that you originally created. So this might be a case study that you created. Maybe this is an example of a campaign that you created for another client. It is content that you originally created to share what it is you do, how you work. Maybe you have a quick little interview you did with one of your clients, but it has nothing to do with what you're offering, just how you work, sharing information. And finally, that 1 piece of content every week that you can share to promote yourself can be that special offer. But maybe it's offering something free production services. Maybe it's offering a discount on one of your advertising products. That one thing that you can promote, you can do every week. This approach will build credibility. You want to show that you have a lot of expertise in understanding how to use digital advertising to get results for your clients, how to use it in combination with your traditional advertising platform. And then you can sprinkle in those promotions. People will expect that. But if you just make every post about promoting and trying to get business, you're going to turn those prospects off and nobody's going to want to join your group. All right, let's talk about the importance of answering questions from prospects, especially in the social media world.
So if you're doing inbound marketing for the first time, if you're learning about this concept for the first time, you might be intimidated by the content that you're going to need to generate. I'm going to give you a secret. The simplest way to create a lot of great, unique content that's going to really engage potential prospects and convert on them and have them give their emails up to you. It's by just collecting all the questions that you're constantly getting from your existing clients, from new prospects, all the different marketing questions and advertising questions that they have. Just start making a list. Maybe in your weekly sales meeting, you could be the one to start collecting all those questions. It's constantly asking, anybody here any new questions, marketing, advertising questions from their clients? And then start systematically responding to those questions just by writing them down. And those are going to be your blog posts. Because let me tell you one thing, if you're getting those questions verbally, think about how many other local businesses and companies in your market are going to Google on the weekends, late at night, asking you those same exact questions. Except you have no content on your website to respond to that, so your website will never come up in their search engine rankings. And that is a missed opportunity on capturing that prospect and building a relationship with them.
This is a great example, very simple website. I believe it's a radio group out in Montana. But what I love about them, they actually put on their websites what I'm advocating, all the most common questions they ever get about radio, about marketing from their local advertisers and business owners. So let's give an example of that. Very simple. How much does it cost? How much does advertising cost? And they offer their response. I also, what I have underlined it in red here, tell us about your business and goals. You always want to have a call to action with every single response to these questions because we want some sort of conversion. We want to try to capture an email address. So another question, what should I say in my commercial? And I also love this call to action because they have a business survey. This is a great call to action, getting more data, getting more information to learn about their prospects' goals and marketing needs. Now I just want to dive deep into one of the Portland Radio Group's blog posts to really show you all the critical elements that you want to have if you are going to start adding more blog-like content around marketing ideas and advertising ideas to your website to reinvent that Advertise With Us section on your website. Number 1, you really want to pay attention to the keywords that you're going to use in the headline, the title of that blog post. What are the keywords that people might use that might be related to that information that they would submit to Google to find this? Try to anticipate what kind of question might they ask, and then use some of the words from that question in the headline of your blog post. Number 2, you want to share this. Make it really easy to share on social media. Add all of those buttons just to encourage people to share. You want to include in your copy the location because remember, Google is going to look for information based on your geographic area. So we really want to make sure that throughout your copy that you use the name of your market. So that way that when local businesses are looking for digital marketing information, it is your content that's going to pop up in their search engine rankings. Believe it or not, you want to include at least one image. using Google's algorithm, content that has at least one image gets higher search engine rankings. To break up your content, I would suggest using headings, maybe no more than 3, to make this easier to read, because people like to read things in chunks. If we just have one big block of copy, going to be too overwhelming, they're going to ignore it. So I would highly recommend breaking up your blog post into 3 main points with headings. Always include research to enhance the credibility of the message that you're trying to communicate. Have that call to action, as we talked about, because we want people to convert, to give up their email address, to take a survey. We want them to connect with us in some way so we can follow up with them again. Based on Google's current algorithms, you want to make your blog post about 600 words in length. So in the eyes of Google, blog posts that have at least 600 words are deemed more significant, or it shows that somebody has taken the time to really get into a particular topic and it's going to be more credible. All right, let's talk about the importance of sharing case studies. Really super easy way of creating content for your social media group and for your Advertise With Us section. I would recommend building a case study archive. Even you as an individual local media rep, or if you're a manager watching this, really getting your team to start collecting those case studies. I often work with local media reps. Some of them are really good at, keeping track of great case studies. But even if they're mediocre, I think it's more important to build up that case study archive. So you have lots of different examples across different digital advertising formats and different digital advertising categories. You want to organize your case study by type of media, your type of traditional media that you're selling versus digital, the type of advertising format. So in the world of digital, it would be mobile, social media, online. The type of ad category, is it automotive? Is it healthcare? Is it retail? Budget size, small, medium, large, whatever that means to you for your organization and in your market. And finally, the marketing goal. Is it branding? Is it direct marketing? Is it engagement? What type of marketing goal? And believe me, this is going to be your new Advertise With Us section. If you just collected case studies and share them in your Advertise With Us section of your website, that is going to be dramatically reinvent how many leads you can be capturing from your existing local media organization website. Broadly divide my case study archive in the following way. There's case studies that are from traditional advertising branding, right? Their exposure, television, print, radio, also display ads in the digital world. They're really good at getting exposure and branding. On the right-hand side, we really want to have all those different opportunities that are results driven, that call to action that is going to capture emails, mobile numbers, social media followers, getting people to convert on a special offer. So I would broadly divide my archive very basically into these 2 different camps, whether they deliver on a marketing goal that's really good at exposure in front of an audience and getting branding, or are they good at getting results? Here, now let's dive into some of the basic elements you want to have in a case study. This does not have to be elaborate. You want to clearly identify what was the marketing goal of that client. Why did they buy advertising with you? What were they trying to achieve? Number 2, how was it executed? How did you work with your client? How did you put this together? If you came along any snafus, you might want to address that as well and show how you solve them, because that is a great way to show how you're managing your client's expectations as well. 3, you want to show the different advertising elements that made up this particular package that delivered on the goals that you were set out to achieve. Did you have a mobile element? Was there social media? What type of traditional advertising elements? What types of impressions were delivered? So really list out all the different advertising elements that were developed for this particular mix to deliver on this client's marketing goals. Of course, how much was it? You might not want to share that on your website. I think transparency is great. The more you share, I think the more prospects you're actually going to get. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but you do want to include the cost in these case studies. At least share this in one-on-one client meetings. And here's the other thing, especially if you're going to add this content to your website, your social media group, I would marry your case studies with a testimonial, and better yet, include the actual advertisement. All the elements, the original radio commercial, television commercial, use all the visuals that you used in print advertising, online advertising, social media, mobile, what have you. So that is like the holy grail, that case study, the testimonial and advertisement, to really show this is deep, rich content to show how you work with prospects. And this is going to be a great way of turning more of them into clients. So if you do a testimonial, do a little interview with them, what are some of the questions that you might ask your client? 3 basic questions. Why did you use whatever media that they bought? What were the results? And then I love this question. What advice can you give to someone, another local business owner, considering buying whatever type of advertising? Because what I love about collecting these types of testimonials, you might even want to record an audio or a video. You're getting your clients to sell you rather than you selling yourself. There's no better way to sell something in sales than getting the people who actually use the product or service to sell it for you. And this is what we should be doing as well in local media advertising. And with these case studies, share them all over the place. As we said, get it on your website, in your Advertise With Us section of your website. And remember, have a call to action. Get people to sign up for an email. So every time you have a new case study, they can get an email version. And that way you can capture their email address. Send out those emails as we just discussed every time you have a new case study. Share it on social media. And instead of that Chinese menu of all these different advertising options that we seem to always present to our clients, especially in that first meeting, turn your sales presentations into case studies. So get rid of that Chinese menu of options and pick out 3 case studies related to your client's business category or marketing needs, because case studies are stories. People love to be told stories. And when you're presenting a client with a case study of how you worked with past clients, say you're talking to a hospital and you have a couple of case studies with other healthcare related advertisers, and you start telling them about how you worked with them and what happened and how you got the results, that prospect will start asking much deeper buying questions more quickly. You'll get a sense of what they're interested in, what aspects of the marketing mix in these case studies are they gravitating toward, or what don't they like? Instead of just saying, hey, here's all of our options, why don't you pick something? Tell a story and you can always reconfigure it. And also it makes us comfortable as local media reps. Instead of just selling a standard package, we're selling a case study that can be altered and adjusted in a way that makes sense for that prospect. And finally, host webinars. Great way to capture email addresses from potential prospects. I'm going to walk you through a case study. This is also from the Portland Radio Group. They did an amazing success on designing a webinar, was focused on doing business on Facebook because they heard from a lot of their existing clients that they want to learn more about how to use Facebook to generate business. Great thing about a webinar, there's a deadline. So there's a live webinar. So people really respond to deadlines. They know they have to sign up. This is a great way to be capturing email address, as I've already indicated, from that potential prospect. And what's awesome, that the Portland Radio Group actually sold out this webinar. That's how popular it was. This is how they executed on this webinar. They had an outside expert. They actually had somebody from HubSpot come and explain how they could be using different inbound marketing strategies using Facebook. They actually got 2 of their clients who had great success using radio in combination with Facebook to participate in the webinar. Once again, using the clients to sell them rather than them having to sell themselves. They promoted this on air and online. They really put a marketing campaign behind this. I think more often than not, when we do these types of sales events, we don't promote it well enough. Pull out all the stops, get a lot of people to participate in something like this. The webinar was 1 hour, and they even had a local bank sponsor it. First time they ever did a webinar like this. Great B2B opportunity. Got a sponsorship. Results, they had 145 people register, and 77 people participated in the live webinar. Now, let me tell you, I've done a lot of webinars. These are amazing results, and you're always going to have about half the people not be able to show up for the webinar. They'll look at the archived version. Here's the other amazing thing about these stats. Of the 145 people who registered, not one of them was one of their existing clients. These were all brand new prospects. So this is something that was enormously successful in generating qualified sales leads. And that's what I also love about doing webinars like this. Not only did they capture 145 email addresses, these are local businesses who are interested in learning how to do more marketing on Facebook in combination with radio. It's a qualified lead. We really understand what they were going after. And here's now the conversion process of how they turn these participants in the webinar into clients. First, they have a follow-up email, give them a link to the archived copy of the webinar. Thank you for participating. They actually connected with every single one of those people who registered on Facebook as well. Then they enter these prospects into what is called an email lead nurturing campaign. They send up to 4 different emails with additional marketing ideas and suggestions about how to market on Facebook without ever asking them to buy anything. And by the 4th or 5th email, that is when they might offer an opportunity to buy advertising with this local media organization. So I know that's really tough in the local media sales world to have that type of restraint. But let me tell you, you'll convert on so many other prospects that way if you can just really give first, then receive down the road. And as I said, they had a sponsorship package. So this is another opportunity, not only you educating your local advertisers on new digital advertising opportunities, but you can turn this into a B2B sponsorship opportunity like the Portland Radio Group did. A couple of quick recommendations on great webinar content. If you are thinking about doing something like this, they're very simple to put together. Visuals are always better than text alone. Hope I've been doing a good job of that throughout this training. People like to be told a story. Keep the message really simple on every slide. Also, limit one idea per slide. Say if you have 3 different bullet points that you want to make, try to break it up into 3 different slides, as I'm always trying to do throughout all of my trainings. I don't always hit the mark, but that's what I try to do. Keep it simple, keep it focused. I also want to mention an alternative to webinars. Doing video chats. And one of the apps I would recommend using would be Google's Hangouts. It's probably one of the easiest to use and it's free. So this is something that you might consider maybe for a more intimate group, maybe no more than 15 or 20 people. So this might be a very core group of niche prospects. So this might be something that would be invitation only or something that would definitely have a limited audience. Let's do a quick wrap up now of all the actions we just talked about in terms of setting up an inbound lead strategy that you can do for yourself as an individual local media rep, or your entire local media organization can do it for your sales team. Number 1, promote yourself. Get a bio on your local media association's website. Get your profile on LinkedIn. Reinvent the advertised page with us on your local media organization's website. Get case studies on there, answer questions, share research. Create a social media group for your sales department on LinkedIn or Facebook. Answer common questions from your prospects. And this is a great source of content for blog post ideas that you can share in your social media group or your website. Share those case studies. And finally, consider hosting a webinar or even a video chat. And as part of the materials for this particular module, I created a self-promotion checklist for you that you can use beyond the certification. Up next, we're moving on to a new section in our certification, multi-platform proposal development. And the first module will be all about building a multi-platform package.